Welcome back. My name is Ron, and today I'm going to start with the part 1 of How to Heal Yourself series. Now, before we get started on this, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and like the video if you like it, and comment down below if you feel so guided to do so. And also share with a buddy if you believe they can use this information as well. So, first off, we're going to start at the very beginning of a process, and that is why. You have no reason to heal yourself unless there's a reason to, obviously. So, why do you need to heal yourself? What has gotten you to the point where you know that you're not okay the way you are? So, for me, this is often triggered by some sort of traumatic event. It's kind of a tipping of the scales, a rock bottom, if you will. And for me, which I don't share much, but I'm going to anyway, is that a year and a half ago, I was an absolute mess. I mean, even 1 year ago, I was an absolute mess. In so much emotional, mental conflict and pain. I don't even know how I got from day to day, honestly. The only time I was not in intense agony was when I was asleep. So I actually welcomed the blissfulness of oblivion, because it was the only time that I wasn't having this constant mental and emotional storm. So a couple years ago, the very reason that I gave to my, self-image collapsed. So for the majority of my adult life, I was in a soulmate relationship. And it was pretty intense and wonderful, and then one day it wasn't. And then it was gone. And without realizing it, I had dedicated so much of me to this relationship that when it disappeared, it was like I didn't know who I was anymore. Because I had just identified myself as a family man. I identified myself as, someone in a relationship. In this particular relationship. And so when it was taken, it was traumatic, to say the least. But as the weeks and months rolled on, it was like, because I'd ended relationships before, or been dumped before, or whatever, and it was nothing like this. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is different. Obviously, I was with this person for a very, very long time. Basically, I think there was only a couple years in my adult life where I wasn't with this particular person, and when this time, it was like it just kept going and going and going, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go distract myself by, go date or something. I'm gonna go out to a party. I'm gonna go do this or that. Even if I was sitting there watching a freaking movie, it was like somewhere in the back of my mind, I was constantly thinking about this person, this relationship. I didn't know who I was anymore. It was catastrophe. And this went on for a freaking year. Like a year. It was really, really bad. It was so bad that it was like I had actually been putting steps in place to end my own existence. I mean, there was no meaning anymore. There was no purpose anymore. And without purpose, who are you? Without purpose, or what is it you do? What do you define yourself as? What do you define yourself? What do you do? What value are you if you have no purpose? And so, luckily, obviously, I wouldn't be making this video if I had gone through with it, but I was pretty damn close. And then people around me kind of intervened and, distracted me and whatnot. And after over a year, it was like, this wasn't going away. This was way different than before. It was ongoing, months went by, a year went by. It was just like more than a year went by. It was just like, what the hell is going on? And then someone smarter than myself finally, at the right moment, pointed my attention to myself. He was like, you are the problem and you are also the solution. And maybe I was in it so long that I just was like open to hearing the message. And even though I was like, okay, I'm going to heal myself, what does that mean? I mean, he gave me a little bit to get me started, but that was it. And so, I mean, it helped me enough. It kind of took a little bit of the edge off using a replacement therapy. But, this wasn't solving the real issues. This wasn't getting deep to where the pain was coming from. My identity was still fractured. It was still a question mark. And, my mind wanted an identity. It was like, who am I? What do I do? What am I? What's the purpose of anything? And it was not stopping. And so I went on a crusade basically that is like, I am going to heal myself no matter what I have to do, no matter how hard it is or how extreme it might be. But I really had no idea what to do. And in a year's time, I watched thousands of self-help videos. I read dozens of books. And while, they're all pretty good, it still didn't give me a clear idea of what the hell was going on or how I was going to fix it. And so what I want, when I was going through what I was going through, it was like if I had a more precise roadmap, then things could have been, I could have like gotten to this position I am now like 6 to 8 months faster. I just went on a mad spree of trial and error. I'm going to try every freaking thing there is to find out what works. And, well, almost everything gave me a little bit of help. It wasn't getting the real thing. It was like the dam was breaking and it was spewing water all over the place. And I'm running up with, a couple buckets. I wasn't getting anywhere. I mean, a little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe I could sleep a little bit better at night sometimes. But it wasn't taking care of the core problem. I was throwing Band-Aids on a hemorrhage. It just wasn't helping very much. And so the purpose of this series is to, cut that time frame down. Who the hell needs to suffer needlessly for an extra 6 months when you don't need to? I wish there was, this was presented to me back then, because it could have saved me, the better part of a year in trial and error to get, some real results. And so, first off is, why do you want to heal yourself? What is it about your life that you can't take anymore? Are you at rock bottom, or are you just kind of, I'm not so sure, whatever. I'm just trying different things. But I'm going to go deep into all this stuff, and I'm going to bring to you what worked for me. Let's cut out like the 6-month trial and error process and get straight to what actually gave me real results. Not just Band-Aids on a wound, but actually getting in there with the surgery and fixing the real problems, and made it so that, a year ago I was a hot mess, basically, a complete, utter, devastated person, broken. And fast forward, not even a year, and it's like, now I'm like building up my own thing. I'm believing in myself like I've never believed before. I'm, standing up for myself in situations that I never would have before. And I do so without really fear of the consequences. To hell with what society says, to hell with what people say. If they're on board my train to Success Town, then, all aboard. But if they're in my way, I'll just run them over. I mean, I'll do what I gotta do to get where I want to go. That's simple as that. And I want to share that with other people, because I know there's a lot of people out there that need to hear the message. They need to know what works and what doesn't work, and what order actually gets results. I mean, I run into people all the time just out on the street. I don't even know how this happens, and somehow it's like, I know that they're in pain, and we strike up a conversation. Before I know it, I'm like giving them advice and, giving them directing them to where to go, what to do, what to use. I've been like half a dozen already just in the last maybe 3 months, just helping people that I run into. How many more can I help that are actually looking for it? And if that's you, or someone who needs this, and I bet you do, because I've known plenty of people who need this, then go ahead and share it with them and buckle up. We're gonna go on a ride, and it's gonna make lives better. No one needs to suffer needlessly. No one needs to wait, an extra year, 2 years, 6 months, 8 months. Let's, get results now. And so, but you got to understand, before you face your demons, you have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. For me, it was clear. I had no purpose. I had no life. I either fixed myself or ended myself. That's how clear it was for me. Life could not continue the way it was. What is your reason? Why do you want to do it? This isn't going to be just sunshine and rainbows, because when you dig up, the skeletons in the closet, and you turn that mirror, you turn that camera into yourself, and you start looking inside yourself, you're not going to like what you see. And you may even come to despise yourself, but that's normal. That, you hide all these things away for so many years, and then you open that door and you see what's actually hidden in there and where you got yourself. Just like I got myself. You don't like yourself so much. You're not a good friend to yourself. But that doesn't have to be that way. It can change. So on the next one, I'm going to jump into actual reconstruction. Part 2, reconstruction. What worked? What gave me the breakthrough? Jump right into it. All right. Have a great one. See you later.